Let's talk about Venus retrogrades. What are they and how do they affect us? We're going to discuss everything Venus retrograde and how you can prepare to avoid problems and get the most benefit from them. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and value, is transiting through Leo from July 22nd to September 3rd, 2023. Even though we'll be discussing this particular Venus retrograde, many of these tips are useful to remember for the future, given that Venus retrogrades every 18 months. While you might certainly expect some snafus in the arenas over which the planet rules, it's helpful to know what astrologers suggest you do, and perhaps more importantly, not do during the Venus retrograde cycle in order to steer clear of unnecessary fumbles. Keep watching to find out which signs will breeze through Venus retrograde and which will have a hard time. Similar to Mercury, whose own infamous retrograde cycle may ring some bells, Venus is an inner planet, meaning it's located close to Earth, relative to the extended solar system. Astrologically, that means its retrograde cycles impact us on a deeper day-to-day level than those of outer planets like Neptune, for example. Venus also moves relatively quickly, meaning its retrogrades happen about every 18 months. Retrogrades tend to take on the character traits of the sign they're in. This particular retrograde in Leo, you may be easily irritated within your relationship, and this would be a great time to redefine your relationship and its boundaries to ensure everyone is getting what they need and want, or at least most of it. Also, Venus retrograde can lead to overspending, so be aware and alert so that this doesn't happen. Also, it's best not to invest at this time and to avoid big purchases or to commit to any long-term or new major endeavors. Like any retrograde, Venus retrograde will likely inspire more reflection than action, turning our attention on Venusian themes away from the external beauty of the world and toward the internal beauty of ourselves. Venus retrograde is a time period to focus on our beliefs around love and how we show up in these dynamics. To that end, keep watching for Venus retrograde tips regarding what to do and what not to do in order to act in a star-sanctioned alignment with the transit. Although it will have an effect on all of us, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, Scorpio, and Pisces will easily come through this transit, while Cancer, Aries, Libra, Aquarius, Leo, Sagittarius, and Gemini will have a tougher time. Keep watching for how Venus retrograde will affect your sign, and so you know what to look out for. Aries will have a bigger need for independence, and this will affect your relationships with possible increased fighting. Taurus, the retrograde might kick up some jealous feelings within your relationships. Gemini gives you a new outlook, causing you to ditch any relationship obligations, causing friction and possibly ruining previously strong bonds. Cancer, the need for security will be heightened. You could feel possessive and suffocate those close to you. Leo, with a love for all things grand and over the top, Leos need to be careful about going all out in order to improve relationships. This could backfire, and then you may play dirty to get what you want. Virgo, your self-confidence may lessen and you retreat into yourself. Libra will be fully ready to engage. However, be sure to protect your heart. Scorpio, more passionate than ever, Scorpio's jealousy could overflow during the retrograde. Sagittarius, the need for freedom could push Sagittarius to be absent from your close relationships. Love relationships are not prioritized, yet intellectual relationships are pushed to the forefront during this retrograde. Capricorn, you won't be inclined to talk about your feelings, but you should try to reach out to others. Aquarius, you will feel your seductive powers increase, but you will still be looking for love without commitment or boundaries. Pisces, you may find it difficult to stay calm and serene during Venus retrograde. You'll be ready to connect with anyone who looks twice at you. Tips for what to do during Venus retrograde. It's best to use this time to sort through your thoughts and feelings about others. Since Venus governs feelings, it can amplify and bring to light emotions. It forces us to address our feelings and gives us better balance. Allow your heart and feelings to be expressed during this time. Your relationships will be better for it. The best use of this phase is to re-examine the past, complete any unfinished projects, and sort things out that are unresolved, especially as it relates to past relationships. Reflect on past relationships. This transit will push us to reflect on what we've learned about our worthiness in relationships and short-term sacrifices we may need to make in order to attain the love and quality of relationships we deserve. This type of reflective work could surface many emotions, and it's essential to practice self-compassion while processing the past and to embrace mistakes as helpful lessons. You can then apply all these beautiful lessons to relationships moving forward once Venus stations direct. Allow yourself to seek closure in relationships with care and integrity. It's not necessarily off limits to reopen communication with an ex-partner or former friend during Venus retrograde, so long as doing so supports meaningful growth. Another way to think about it, while Mercury retrograde may be more likely to bring toxic exes back into your life, Venus retrograde could push you to think about where you might have been the toxic ex, so to speak. Maybe you were the friend that ghosted or the person who left a relationship without doing the right thing. Venus retrograde might not necessarily be a sign to get back together with this person, but perhaps it's a chance to revisit how you left this relationship and if there's anything you might have done or might be able to do differently now, knowing the wisdom of your lived experience. Prioritize caring for yourself. Venus reflects our inner world of self-care and pleasure. The slowdown prompted by the retrograde is just one more reason to turn inward and refuel your own resources. What we willingly give to others must be poured into our own self-care first. It's also worth noting that Venus in Leo in particular can inspire you to crave attention and interaction. It's a good time to see if you're getting what you need from your relationships, both platonic and romantic. Also, look at your bank account and see whether the investments you're making are providing what you want and need them to. Tips for what not to do during Venus retrograde. Make any permanent or long-lasting changes to your appearance. In general, permanent changes of any sort aren't typically the best idea during retrogrades, as these transits are more centered around past reflection than forward momentum. But in particular, given that Venus rules over beauty, this transit is a time to steer clear of major aesthetic shifts. That means avoiding cosmetic procedures, tattoos, and even big hair changes if you can. While Venus retrograde can certainly bring up insecure feelings around physical appearance, it's easy to regret big decisions made during the retrograde when Venus goes direct. Instead, if you feel inspired to make a change, go for something subtle and non-permanent to amplify your natural beauty. Settle for someone or something beneath your worth. In the realm of love, specifically, deeper questions about the quality of a relationship may surface unexpectedly during a Venus retrograde, and hard decisions may have to be made regarding whether second chances are really possible. Avoid relationships that lead you to fix the other person or make them a project, and to only put work into a relationship that feels duly reciprocated. The same plan applies to your valuation around money in terms of being given what you're worth. Reflect and ask yourself whether you're receiving the amount you deserve for the work you're outputting and where in your life you may be feeling undervalued. You can use this retrograde to self-reflect and then establish better financial foundations and boundaries once Venus goes direct. Formalize a commitment in love if you can help it. You may enter Venus retrograde with one mindset and come out with an entirely new one. That means decisions made in the interim might not be the most reflective of your goals on the flip side. That's not to say you won't meet someone great or deepen a relationship during the retrograde, but more so that the cosmos is better aligned for long-lasting love decisions or contracts once Venus goes direct again. Instead, Venus retrograde is a good time to make and finalize any financial plans and get back in touch with old friends or love. Make any major splurgy purchases. Venus rules money, value, and worth. So avoid any big discretionary, not super necessary purchases, as things you buy during this period may not seem as worthy post-retrograde as you originally thought. Thanks for watching. Hopefully these tips will help you make the most of Venus retrograde. And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you never miss out on our latest videos.